Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 9 o'clock on a 9 o'clock. What day is it? It's 9 o'clock on a Sunday, which means it's time for a review show special. Now, this is where I take a deep dive into a particular trick, a particular product, and I tell you exactly what it is that I think. And today I'm going to be looking at a new trick from Alakazam. I say a new trick, it's actually an old trick that's been re-released. Now, the live launch for this was just a few days ago. If you don't know, Alakazam, on several of their products, they do a live launch, which is where they'll kind of really promote the product and you can watch the trailer for the first time. It's a fantastic concept, it really is. Well, this week they did a live launch for this. It's called Knock 'em Dead 2 by Peter Nardy. I have the box over here. Here it is, Knock 'em Dead 2, Peter Nardy, Alakazam Magic. In 1997, because here's the thing, this came out before. This has come out before and then went away, as a lot of tricks do. And then Peter's kind of reimagined it and bought it out and made it even better than before. So in 1997, Peter Nardy released an effect that took the magic world by storm. It was called Knock 'em Dead. The effect is simple, the method is devious, and the reactions you get from both magicians and lay audiences is always incredible. Now, 25 years on, it's back with a new lovely tweaks, making it even better than ever before. Knock 'em Dead is a direct prediction effect that will blow everybody's mind. This is self-working, and it's really, really cool. I'm going to play you a interview with Peter Nardy in a few minutes. Me and Pete sat down and chatted about Knock 'em Dead. I always do an interview, or I try to always do an interview with people when I'm doing a review show special. But myself and Pete, we sat down and we chatted about Knock 'em Dead. But before I do, I'll tell you something. At the London Magic Convention last year in November 2022, I watched Tom Wright walk up to the Alakazam stand, and Pete had a few of these on the Alakazam stand, and I saw Tom Wright walk up to the Alakazam stand and perform this. Pete performed this for Tom, and Tom, if you don't know, is an incredible magician, a creator, innovator, just a really nice guy. And Pete performed this to Tom, and Tom was just like, take my money immediately. This is a working routine. This is a trick that, if you don't know the principle behind it, will fool anybody, but it's also really good. Like really, 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 really good, and is super commercial. So I'm going to do a performance of this in a bit, but before I do, let's have a chat with Peter Nardy, and we can talk about Knock 'em Dead 2. Here we go. So I am here with the living legend himself, the one and only Mr. Peter Nardy, head of Alakazam. How you doing, Pete?
I'm all good, mate. All good. I'm sort of under it at the moment because I'm editing all your stuff. So all I've been seeing is your face all day.
I feel sorry for you. I really do. I feel personally responsible for that. Yeah, but it was an amazing time. You know, thanks very much for having me and them last night.
Mate, you were, I can never get over how hard you constantly work. I mean, wow, you came down on the Monday. I think you may have had a cup of coffee before I pushed you in the studio.
I think I might have had one.
I'm not even too sure. And then that day we went to Houdini's, and we were there from what? Before we went there, we got there at 12. Before we went there, you filmed a Q&A in the studio for your channel.
And all of the performances to Emma.
And all the performances. Then we went to Houdini's. We were there till, 11 o'clock at night, doing all the filming. Man, and then the day after we were filming more explanations, and then you had an academy.
Yeah.
I mean, I was knackered and I was just watching you.
It was fun though. That's the fun part before doing the performances. Although I was a little bit stressed with so many tricks, like many things. I was like, what am I doing first? What's this? What's the name? Trying to be organized. I'm not organized. So, but I had a great time. But this is not about me. This is about you. This is about a trick. I heard somewhere, I don't know if you told me or Harry told me, that over the last few weeks, this has been the effect that more people have emailed in asking about at Alakazam than any other effect of recent times. Is that right?
Yeah, because we obviously had it. We've been selling it in the shop since January, I think. Then we took it to Blackpool and we sold out at Blackpool. Now, our good friend Nick Lacapo picked one up at Blackpool and he dropped it on the end. He dropped a performance of it on the end of his Penguin Blackpool video. So now we've started having people emailing going, where can I get this? Now, a lot of people think it's the original Knock 'em Dead, and it's not. So people are going, where can I get my hands on this? It's not available anymore. But the one Nick is performing is the new version. And you know it's the new version because he's still got the boxing shot when he's performing it. It's got the packaging in shot. So, yeah, we've had so many people emailing about it. And, yeah, it's been great. I'm glad to finally have it out. And poor old Jenny, you know, she's been sat at home just collating the decks because every time we make a batch, they're selling in the shop. We were trying to get enough for launch, but every time we get them, we get a call from the guys in the shop saying we need more. So,
and it must be even worse now you've opened up your American distribution center, because you need to, on launch, have a certain batch over in the States, whilst at the same time have a certain batch over here in the UK. So that must be even more work, right?
Yeah, it is. So the USA, so when everyone's watching this, the Trick's been launched. So the Trick's launched on Thursday. This is going out on Sunday. So America, our American warehouse has already got a batch. So to be fair, they've had a batch for about 6 weeks, just sitting there on their shelves, waiting for us to catch up with ours. Whether they've still got any left, I don't know. But if you are in the US, you can grab it from there. Also, our friends at Magic Dream have got an exclusive on a French language version of Knock 'em Dead. So wow. They have it, but in French.
Cool. That's amazing. And the history behind this, you talked about Knock 'em Dead 1. This is something that you first released in 1997, right? I read the back of the box. It said 1997.
Yeah, I can't actually remember the year. I think it was most probably before then. In reality, I put 25-year anniversary on it because 28-year anniversary just doesn't sound as good. So it's called the 25th anniversary edition. And I released it then, and it became an instant hit. For me, it was an instant hit. It was the trick that I was traveling the conventions with. It's the trick that most probably, not that my name's really on the map, but if it is in any way, shape or form, this was the trick that started all that. It wasn't my first release, but it was the first one that got me noticed.
And I've seen you dem this at Blackpool and various different conventions. It just fools everybody. Really knowledgeable magicians. Nobody has a clue what's going on.
No.
It's a magician fooler, right? But as well as being a magician fooler, it's super commercial.
It's such a good trick, and it's one of the only tricks that has stayed with me since the moment I created it to now. It's something that has always been with me. It's something that I've always performed in one form or another. So there have been, and I'll get into this in a moment, but there has been Knock 'em Dead 1, Knock 'em Dead 2, and now this new version. And I'll sort of explain a bit about that in a moment. But I remember first learning the core method to Knock 'em Dead many, many years ago. And I purchased an effect and it used this method. And I'd done some research on the method because I loved it. And I found about 4 or 5 effects all using this method. But the effects were all by different people, but they are all identical. And they all used an external prop. So they all had a wallet with an envelope, and you know, and I wanted to make it sort of self-contained, if that makes sense. I didn't want to have to carry the extra wallet and the extra gaffs. I wanted the gaff to be clean, if that makes sense, you know.
Yeah, it does.
So that's why I created Knock 'em Dead 1. But there was one part of Knock 'em Dead 1 that never sat right with me. And it was one of those moments where, to a lay person or to anyone watching, the effect was still as good. But to me as the performer, it was that moment where you go, oh, it's that one.
Yeah.
You know? Because it didn't really make sense within the routine. And then about 13 years ago, I think 14 years ago, I released Knock 'em Dead 2, which I thought solved the problem. And I performed that personally for about 3 or 4 years before reverting back to Knock 'em Dead 1 as my preferred performance one. And then about 4 years ago, it actually hit me that if I combine Knock 'em Dead 2 with Knock 'em Dead 1, that gets round that problem I had with Knock 'em Dead 1. And that's what this version is.
That's amazing. Yeah, and I never looked at the original versions. My only frame of reference is the new version that's just come out. And it's so fooling. Obviously, there's a couple of principles in there that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
The way that you've put those principles together and the way that everything is constructed, I just love the fact that it's so self-contained. It's just, boom, I'm going to do this. It's instantly reset. It's self-contained. It'll work for a small group of people. It'll work for a bigger group of people. You could do it in parlor. Absolutely fantastic. And it you know, it's just, it's great. It's absolutely brilliant.
It is just one of those, when you perform it on, whether it's a lay person or whether it's a magician, you just get that jaw drop moment because everything's so clean. You know, I show you a deck, you see they're all different, they're all mixed. You then deal through, and with no pressure from me, you just stop dealing wherever you want. Yeah, I've predicted exactly where you're going to stop dealing. And it's one of those things that, like you said, you see a magician at our stand at a convention, and you just look at their face and you know they've got nowhere to go with it.
Nope.
You know, unless you know the method, of course. But even when you know the method, it's still hard to connect the dots as to where everything is.
Still doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a customer of ours who's been a customer for many years, but he never picked up Knock 'em Dead 1 or 2. And he came in before Christmas or just after Christmas, bought Knock 'em Dead, the new one. And since then, every time he comes in, he just buys another one. And he says, I just need one for my briefcase. I need one for my close-up case. I need one for my car. I need one for here. And it's like his go-to trick now. He says, the reactions are just incredible, and they are, and for no work, you know,
and I think that's one of the things. It is very direct.
Yeah.
A lot of routines that I've ever seen that I mean, because ultimately at the end of the day, when you think about Knock 'em Dead, it's a prediction.
Yeah.
You're predicting the card that the spectator is going to select. And a lot of the time when you're doing a routine like this, it's very procedural. In order to get that prediction to match, there's a lot of procedure. But with this, it's not. It's like, right, deal whenever you want to, say stop, here's my prediction, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing that I really wanted about Knock 'em Dead when I created it as well was an effect that I could perform in the hands. That was the other thing. So I showed them the deck, they have a look at it, I hand it to them, and they just deal the cards into my hand face up. So they're not dealing them face down, they're seeing, and I'm very fair about this. I want you to deal the cards in my hand, do it face up so you know I'm not cheating you. Now, whenever you get the urge, just stop. It's as clean as that, you know? Yeah, I'm really proud of it. it's just one of those effects that I really love. I just love doing it, and it's yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm glad you like it as well.
I love it, and Ryland loves it, as you would expect. Like he's put it into his close-up case, so has to be really good to go to Ryland's close-up case, especially if it's a card trick. So there you go, you're honoured. So I mean, yeah, I'm going to take it back into the studio in a minute. I'm going to give it a full performance. I'm going to give it a review. Performing it, I'm going to give it a full review. But before I do, as I've got you here on the channel in the last couple of minutes, can you give us a sneak peek of anything that's coming out from Alakazam in the not too distant future? Don't actually tell us names. I know that it's going to be shrouded in secrecy, but have we got some?
There is. Do you know what? We're in. We've sort of gone up a gear since lockdown. You know, you've been involved in a lot of the stuff as well. We've gone up a gear in production. That's only getting stronger and stronger and stronger. We have got a couple of killer packet tricks coming out that we're very excited about. One of them by a very clever magician that we both know. In fact, you were the one that put him in touch with us. We're working on
talent scout for Alakazam, just saying.
Yeah, 100%. So we've got that. We have got a brand new one from Ian Bailey, which is great. I know you know about that as well. My Mind Spy 2, which a lot of people have been asking about, is on the cards. They're ready. It's just filming the videos and everything else. In fact, they've been in stock for over 2 years. People don't realize this, that, you know, we have got stuff held back that's ready. It's complete. It's just waiting to get it out. And Mind Spy 2 has been in stock physically since way before lockdown.
Wow.
I mean, it's been there for a while. So that will be coming out hopefully this year. And then we've also got another huge, in fact, the biggest project we've ever done, which obviously you're involved in, and that's due out later on this year. There's so many good things happening. I mean, it's a really exciting time for Alakazam, and the whole team is excited with, you know, what's happening just with the, you know, the website and the way we're growing on the retail side, the fact we've now got the American warehouse sorted. But for me, most importantly, it's the product development. It's something that's become more of a full-time job for me now. Just making sure the trailers and everything are ready. But we got some great stuff coming out, and there's a great one by you and the legend that is Ryland Party coming out soon.
Oh, that's coming out soon. Yeah, I can't wait for people to see that. It's yeah, I mean, that's one that I performed live at Houdini's, and the reactions, like, people were just losing it when they saw that trick.
Yeah, that's literally on my timeline now. I'm editing that as we speak. Excuse me for the phone. I turned my mobile off and my watch, but you can't turn the home one off.
No.
But yeah, it's honestly, mate, there's so many good things coming. And for anyone that doesn't know, every month we have a live launch evening. If you haven't joined us for one of these, they're so much fun.
They're great. They're absolutely amazing. You have special guests on. You see the trailer for the first time live. It's really cool. I don't know of any other company that's doing that, and I think it's such a smart idea from both building a community point of view, but also from a business point of view.
Yeah, do you know what? It's really good. And the amount of messages we get from people that say they really look forward to it, and it's like a special night for them. They just, you know, because the chat's going, we're all sort of chatting to each other, and they watch it on Facebook and YouTube, and it's just a fun hour and a half, isn't it? If you're sitting indoors, nothing to do, join us. And like you said, you get the premiere of the trailer. People can ask questions. We usually have the creator on to answer questions. They're just fun nights. So if you haven't seen one yet, make sure you join us for one of the live launches. And our last live launch the one before Knock 'em Dead, was for your apparition, and we sold out in 2 hours. 2 hours.
Which was a sales record. That's just
that broke a record for us. We've never done that before. You've managed to crash our site before.
I've done it twice, I think. I did it with Ghost, and I did it with one other. Was it Mirage or
I think it was no, Mirage was when the new site.
No, that was the new site as well. It was Beyond Stebbins.
Beyond Stebbins, yeah. So you're partially to blame for the fact I'd spend out thousands of pounds on a new website.
You're welcome.
Because we couldn't risk any more Craig Petty products.
But yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. I know the future's bright, and I'm very much looking forward to getting my hands on the new Chris Congreve routine that you actually showed.
Oh man,
that's the one that I'm really excited about.
This is great. It's great. Do you know what? I've been performing it and I love it. So simple, but I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I think that's really smart. Typical Chris Congreve, smart, clever, commercial. Yeah, it's really good. Really
and the props are great. The props we've managed to source for it are perfect.
Well, the future is very bright, and I'm glad that I'm a part of it. But congratulations on the success of everything that's happened at Alakazam, especially Knock 'em Dead. I'm going to come back I'm going to come back into the studio, perform it now, and give it a full review. But Pete, thank you so much.
Thank you, mate, and thanks for being part of the Alaka fam.
Anytime, buddy. See you soon.
Speak soon. Cheers, guys.
So I think it's worth saying that Pete is a good friend of mine. I do a lot of work with Alakazam, and I think they're a great company. But as I said to Pete, and as I say to everybody I do a review show special on, this is going to be a full 100% unbiased review. I'm giving you my honest opinion, and Pete is absolutely aware of that. So let's talk about Knock 'em Dead 2. So first of all, it's a self-contained trick. This is the deck over here. There we go. This is the deck over here. So this is the Knock 'em Dead deck. Everything is self-contained, pretty much. There is one other thing that you need, but you can just put it in your wallet or into the pocket, and that's absolutely not a problem. And it'll just sit there. But pretty much everything is self-contained into this deck. This deck can only be used to do Knock 'em Dead 2. You couldn't use this to do 3 or 4 other routines. It would have to be Knock 'em Dead 2. You wouldn't really be able to use this for anything else. But the deck is gimmicked and set up in such a way that it will allow you to perform the main routine over and over again. The reset is pretty much instantaneous. In fact, Peter goes through how to reset the trick. So, you can literally, as you're putting the cards away, it resets and you're ready for the next table. It's very commercial. Now, you're going to watch a performance in a minute, and you're going to see me performing this to Jack and him dealing the cards into my hand. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. You can have them deal the cards onto the deck. You can even have them hold onto the deck themselves and deal them into your hand. So what I'm saying here is you don't have to have a table for this. This is a great trick to do in a strolling performance, but it also is a great trick. This would play to a parlor show audience, no problem. This would play in banquet situations, no problem. It's very practical in terms of the different places that you can perform this. Now, if you don't know what the effect is, or if you haven't seen it performed, you're going to see a full live, unedited performance of this right now. So let's have a look at this. This is a full performance of Knock 'em Dead by Peter Nardy.
I love Peter Nardy.
I know, and you've not seen this, have you? So this is great. Uses a pack of cards.
Nice.
And this is probably one of the coolest card tricks you will ever see. Okay. So 52 cards. As you can see, they're all there. They're all different. Correct.
Nice.
Need exactly 52 cards. So we'll take the Joker out. So you, my friend, are going to make all the choices. So you're going to start off by dealing cards into my hand like this, taking them off the top of the pack and turning them face and putting them into my hand. So you've got a good hand, haven't you? Yes. So start doing that. So just take the cards and start dealing them into my hand, turning them face up, and anytime you want to, just stop dealing.
Anytime.
You can go for as long as you want. It's totally up to you.
Change your mind if you want to.
I'll stick there.
Yeah?
Yep.
Final answer. You wanna stop right there.
Yes, Your Honour.
Take that card, don't show it me, show everyone else, but do not show me whatever you do. Show everyone else, but don't show me.
Yep.
You got it? Yeah?
Yep.
Fantastic. Just put it face down. Now think about this. You could have picked any card, right?
Yep.
If you'd have gone one less card, it would have been completely different. 2 less cards, 3 less cards. If you'd gone one more card, you would have got the 8 of hearts. The point is, no one could have predicted what card you would have ended up with.
Nada.
You ended up with one card and one card in particular. What if I told you I knew what the card was before you even picked it?
I'd be like, no.
No, I did. I knew what the card was before you even picked the card. I knew what the card would be.
Oh?
And I'll prove it to you. Do you remember me saying that we need exactly 52 cards?
Yeah.
And then I took the Joker out?
Yeah.
I took the Joker out not because we need 52 cards, but because the Joker is my prediction. See, this Joker's been here on the table the whole time, right?
Yeah.
And you stopped on the 6 of spades. And I didn't show you, but on the back of the Joker, it says, you will stop on the 6
What
of spades.
frick?
You could have stopped on any one of these cards, any one at all. And I was able to predict the card that you would stop on.
Oh, is that a thing?
Okay, so you just saw Knock 'em Dead. That is the performance. If you like what you saw, that is the effect that you will have on your spectator. Now, I don't think it's fair to talk about method with this trick, but the method, or there's 2 or 3 methods that are actually at play here. And a couple of the methods have been around before. And what I like about what Peter's actually done with this is he's taken the core method and made it so that it's a lot better than any other version of the core method that I've seen. Normally, to do this sort of effect, you would need, and it's based on a very old principle, but normally to do this sort of effect, you would need another thing that you would carry around with you that's as big as the deck of cards, and it means more stuff to carry. So from a pocket management point of view, it's not as good. Now, Pete hasn't done that. Pete has, as I said, pretty much made everything self-contained inside this deck. In fact, the way that I'm doing it is completely self-contained. The point of the performance that I did on Jack, which is the way that I plan on performing it, I have nothing other than the deck of cards with me that I'm set to do the routine. I suppose the key thing about this is it's self-working. As soon as I started learning how this was done, because frankly, I never saw the original Knock 'em Dead. When it first came out in 1997, never saw it, or at least I don't think I did. So when I started watching the tutorial and learning this, I was in the sales room and I was sitting at my desk in the sales room, and I shouted over to Matt and I said, "Hey Matt, this trick is absolutely up your street." And it is, because it's everything that Matt looks for in a trick, which is self-working, easy to do, allows him to focus on presentation, and you know, I suppose the key word is mentalism. Easy mentalism is what it is. It allows you to focus on really selling it. And what's nice about it is a direct prediction. They can literally stop you on any card. There is no force. It's not like it's a maths thing where they stop you and you go, okay, now deal 10 cards back or anything like that. Nothing like that. They stop whenever they want to. Now, I'm not a big fan of dealing tricks, but when you're doing it like this and they're just dealing one at a time and they can stop anytime they want to, it actually builds up anticipation. It's not very procedural. The tutorial runs about half an hour. That's all it needs to be. Pete talks about the deck. He talks about the setup of the deck. The deck does come set up, but Pete talks about the setup just in case you ever drop the deck and you need to be able to set it up again. So he talks about that. Then he talks about the routine and how the trick works and the core method. Then he talks about presentational points and how to actually make this play really big. He covers everything with a fine tooth comb. So yeah, I mean, from a worker's point of view, this is super practical. No angle issues, no table required, instant reset, easy to do. The one, I don't want to call it a negative, but the one thing that you're going to need to be aware of is the deck is not examinable. When you finish the trick, you have to put the cards away. They couldn't sit there and examine the deck. Although, to be honest, I don't think they're going to want to. You know, there's certain tricks that scream out examine. This is not one of those tricks. This is a trick that I don't think people want to examine because it's so direct. It's so direct and it's so powerful, and they can see everything. It's not like there's anything not to see. So I don't think that's a problem, but it's worth bringing up. You can't have the deck examined if that's an issue to you. That's something that you should be aware of. Other than that, it's easy. Very, very easy to do. If you're looking to add a prediction into your set that will hit 100% of the time, that will have a really strong reaction on your audience, then this is absolutely the deck of cards that you want to go for. It's great that you can take this whole unit, put it in your pocket, you're good to go, you take it out, you do it, you put it away, you can do it again and again and again. I think it's a bold claim here, very bold claim, especially when you think about the projects I've bought out in the past. Very bold claim. I think this is as good as the Invisible deck. I think this is as good as the Invisible deck. I think that the reactions that it gets will be as strong as the Invisible deck. It's just my opinion, but I think this is crazy good, and definitely something that I'm going to add to my repertoire. And I spoke to Ryland about this as well. I know Ryland's not on this review. Ryland doesn't do many card tricks. He doesn't do much close-up at all, but he said that he would definitely 100% do this. This is something that he said he's very excited about performing the next time he does a close-up gig as well. So yeah, it's really cool. I'm going to give this a 98%. 98%. I think this is very, very cool. There's lots of different ways that you can predict a playing card. Lots of different ways that you can predict a playing card. But this is one of the cleanest methods that I have ever seen. Like I said, he's taken a couple of really old principles, put them together, put everything into a self-contained unit, and made a routine that packs small and plays big. Love it. It's really good, and it's highly recommended from Magic TV. So there you go, guys. That's another review show in the bag. Do me a favor, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Now, if you haven't already done so, at 12 o'clock today, I had a Q&A go up, so go check out the Q&A. Like I said, you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. You can get this directly from Alakazam Magic, so go check it out. You can go and get it now. And if you haven't already done so, please go ahead and join the Netrix. It's www.thenetrix.com. That's www.thenetrix.com. We're uploading new content all the time, and it is super exciting. In fact, we've just had the Nicholas Mavresis lecture, actually, but I haven't seen it yet because when I'm filming this, it hasn't happened. But by the time you watch this, it will have happened, and I'm sure it's awesome. Guys, thanks very much for watching. We'll see you again soon. My name's Craig from Magic TV.